We are excited about what's happening over here at Action Takers Publishing. We just officially launched the company about 2 months ago, and we're going to start interviewing authors. We're going to keep you up to date with what we're doing, what the progress is that we're making. What companies out there tell you everything that's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, we're one of them, Action Takers Publishing. And my name is Linda Sunshine West. I'm the founder and CEO of Action Takers Publishing. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves. Go ahead, Sally, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Sally Green and I am the creative director at Action Takers Publishing. And I'm just excited to be here and I'm looking forward to talking with Sherri and Evan about this book. This is my first book launch with the company. So yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Evan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Evan Tread. I am one of the authors and authors of Wellness for Winners.
Awesome. Sherri, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Sherri Leopold. I'm the CEO of Dream Big with Sherri. I help people stand up and stand out as that unrepeatable miracle that they are, and really help you upgrade your self-love language.
Awesome. Now that we got that part out of the way, let's move on. Okay. So we alluded to the title of the book, Wellness for Winners. And I would love for Sherri and Evan to talk about, how the genesis of this book came about. What does Wellness for Winners mean? What does this mean to you two? Because it can mean something different to everybody. As I was writing my chapter, I was like, you know what? I'm going to really figure this out more. Like I went into the dictionary and I looked up the words wellness and winners because I wanted to make sure that I fully understand from my perspective. But I would love to hear from Sherri first. Go ahead and share with us, how did the idea of Wellness for Winners come to be?
Well, Evan and I have a very interesting story together. And so we met on an airplane randomly. We're sitting next to each other. So it's kind of a long story, but we've always loved having adventures together. And we knew that we wanted to do something together. And we were on a conversation on the phone or whatever, StreamYard, whatever it was. And it was... we had always talked about doing a book and together, and he's like, let's do it. And so it just really kind of fell out from there. We were like, yes, let's do it. And then as we got ourselves involved and got lined up, and I don't know, who knows, but it didn't work out with that publisher. And so that then led to Action Takers Publishers picking up our little baby dream together. And we were so excited because we were so crushed that we thought it wasn't going to work out, and that our project and what we had seen as something that was going to be able to help anyone who picked it up really feel that level of success and really tap into that internal wellness, whether it was spiritual wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, really running the gamut of just feeling well inside, and having it be a guide in that somebody would be inspired to take a step forward in their own wellness journey, and just tap into that happiness.
That's awesome. One thing I love about that is that you two met on an airplane. I mean, and the relationship kept going. And that's the thing, is we never know who we're going to meet and what's going to happen. Like Sally and I, we met probably a little less than a year ago through a book process, being in a book together, and, met each other through that process. And now here we are doing this publishing company together. So it's really, really exciting to keep your mind and your mind and heart open to possibilities. And that's what you were basically alluding to there. I love it. So Evan, go and share with us, what is Wellness for Winners all about for you?
I think for me, like Sherri said, wellness is a gamut and a spectrum of, what it could mean. And like you said, Linda, it means something different for every single person. Wellness can be physical health, mental health, financial health. And I was really taken with the title of the book, Wellness for Winners, because I really feel that when you're able to get that wellness into alignment, then you naturally become a winner. It kind of goes hand in hand. You're able to win at whatever it is that you're trying to get in your life.
I just wanted to cheer right there.
Yeah. Then the crowd goes wild.
Yes.
Sally, did you have any questions? I have a question after your question.
So why don't you tell us about some of the other people in the book that you've asked to be authors with you? Is there anybody that stands out, anybody that you're excited to read their chapter about? Or because I know we have 30 tremendous other authors in this book right along with you guys. And I've read a bunch of the chapters. I know Sherri has too, and Linda's been reading them as we go along. So I don't know, Sherri, what do you think?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So
But
I think
first
one
of
of
all,
the things
she's not picking her favorite child here, okay?
No, I think one of the things that's so exciting for me about this project coming to fruition is that I believe there are between 10 and 12 first-time authors that have never been published at all. And that is such a joy for me. One of them is my husband. So it's the first time he's ever written in a book, but also how amazing to be able to do that, together, being married 34 years. And it's so great because his story is so completely different than mine, yet still impactful. And I love that people are able to impact other people with their story, whatever their story is, and whatever that looks like to them, it will speak to someone. And giving those authors that platform to be able to be heard is just really incredible. So I'm just so excited, especially for the first time authors.
Yeah, what's cool about it is, as I read each story, again, I don't know everybody. So it's not like I know what their story is. So as I'm reading these stories, I'm like, wow, some, people have gone through a lot of crap, right? And then they turn it around. And that's what I love about being together with, people who have turned their life around, is because some have come from really stressful backgrounds as children. I myself am one of them, and you guys here too, right? And then, we've gone through that stuff and we had whatever feelings we had at the time that we were going through them. And then we go through them and then we get to the other side. And then maybe some more crap shows up in our life. Right? And it's just like this whole roller coaster. But where they are now, especially right now, is because you're telling these stories, is they're in a really good place, good mental place. And from my perspective, it's interesting because as I was sitting down to write my chapter for this book, I started thinking about my own life and how, like, right now, I'm the heaviest I've ever been. So I almost felt like I was an imposter writing a chapter in a book called Wellness for Winners. But emotionally and mentally, I am in the absolute best state I've ever been in my life. And so I wrote it from that perspective. And so this is what I love about this. Some are coming and championing, the body. Some are championing the mind. Some are championing the emotions, right? So that's why I love about these stories, is that everybody has a completely different perspective. So Evan, I'd like, why don't you just share just like a snippet of your story for us?
Sure. So my story is all about my mental toughness and how I have, through the challenges in my life, have had to become mentally tough and overcome them, by shifting my focus and my mindset to be able to know that I can stand up and stand in who I am. And I came into this world with a lot of health challenges. When I was born, my mom couldn't even hold me. I was rushed to surgery and so I remember, and I start my chapter with this memory of later having another surgery and being carried down the hallway by a nurse to the operating room. And, I think in all of my health challenges as a small child, I could have died at any one point. But I didn't, and I'm here, and I am healthy and strong, and I think there's a reason I'm here, and I am living every day to fulfill that reason that I didn't pass away when I was a small child, because it was very evident that it could have happened.
Wow. And it's, this happens in life, and we don't know what somebody's gone through or what somebody's going through, right, until they share their story. And so I would love to just go to Sally, because even though Sally is, the creative director of the Action Takers publishing company, she has a story as well in this book. And so, Sally, I want you to share a little bit about your story.
Yeah, well, what Evan said, because I kind of went through a similar thing as a toddler. I don't write about this in the book. In fact, it's in one of the other ones. But I reached up and grabbed a boiling hot pot of water and burned myself when I was about 1.5 years, 2 years old. And I was I got a staph infection in the hospital, and I was in a coma for 3 days, and they didn't think I was going to live. And so, that story has been told to me my entire life. I don't remember any of it, but that has propelled me towards what I do, because I always think God has a plan for me. Otherwise he would have taken me. So I really resonate with what Evan just talked about. I might have to change my chapter now.
No changes. Well, you can add that to it. You still have a little bit of time, a couple more days, before we finish turning in our chapters. And Sherri, go ahead and share with us, Dream Big with Sherri Leopold, right? What is that all about? And I'm sure that part of that comes from your story. So go ahead and share with us, a little bit about your story.
Thanks, Linda. It really does. And I think, the whole Dream Big with Sherri is one of the things that I feel really passionate about, is really just encouraging people to just enlarge their vision for what's possible. And that ties right to my chapter, which is really about that your choices create change, and that at any given time, you have infinite number of choices. When people say, oh, I didn't have a choice, or I don't have any choice, it's actually not true. And if I could impart one piece of wisdom with anything through my story, is that you're all about choices, and that we all have them, just bajillions of them every day. You get to keep making them every day, all day long. And, if you make one and it doesn't work out right, it's okay. You're going to have a million more. And that's the hope, right? There's hope in that too. But also just really standing in your own truth powerfully, and knowing that you get the choice to be well, you have the choice to be successful, and you have the choice to be happy exactly as you are. It's just, it resonates with me to the core, which is why I love reading the stories in this collection. Is incredible, because you see such strength and perseverance and courage in them. And I just know it's going to inspire people. And so I'm just so excited to be part of it, really.
Liz, are you really excited?
I am excited. I jump up and down, except
oh my
I'm
gosh,
not in the place where I could.
Yeah, it's really awesome, to share these stories. Our mission at Action Takers Publishing is to empower 5 million women and men to share their story with the world. And we're just getting started. It's exciting. As I brought Sally on because she and I resonated with each other, just like, Sherri and Evan did. And again, we just don't know what's going to happen when we meet somebody in our lives and how they're going to have an impact on our lives. There can be good impact and bad impact, but it's all in the way that we ourselves interpret what's happened, right? And so I would love to hear from you all, because we got about 5 minutes left. So I'd love to hear from you all. Like, what is a takeaway that you want the audience to gain when they read your chapter or read the compilation of stories in the book? Sally.
I think it's just that you can do it. I think a lot of people are kind of get stuck in the daily routines and the daily things that they have to do. You know, you got to go to work, you got to feed the kids, you got to pay the bills, and they don't necessarily take care of themselves, and they don't think that they have the time or the energy to do what it takes to get themselves well and to actually step out in their greatness. But everyone has the opportunity and everyone can do it if they just take some action and just do it and step out in that fear.
What's that first step you would recommend they take? Somebody sitting there saying, yeah, that's a bunch of BS. Like, you know, I can't do that. What's the first step you recommend?
Make the decision. That's it. You just got to decide. I mean, and then just cut off all possibilities. I mean, when I was going through COVID, and I looked in the mirror and I realized that, wow, you know what? I've neglected myself for so long. I made a decision that day. I went through the refrigerator, I threw everything out, and I started a journey of wellness and self-care. That day, I was like, that's it. I'm not going to take it anymore. You got to get to that point where you just say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm going to do something different. And you know what? That started me on this journey, and opportunities started showing up that may have been there before, but I was so busy living my life that I never even noticed them or took advantage of them.
I love that. And deciding seems to be one of the common themes throughout the book. You know, Sherri mentioned deciding. So Sherri, what is, you know, one of the takeaways that you want people to take away from the compilation of stories as well as your own?
I think the number one word that dropped in my consciousness when you asked that question was perspective. I would hope that at some page within this book gives you a new perspective or opens up your perspective about what's possible for you in your wellness journey, in your journey to success, or in your journey to enlarging your happiness quotient. Whatever that is, just I pray that this collection of people's very personal journeys will inspire people to enlarge their perspective about what's possible for them. Basically, it's hope. That's what I see. The one word for the book is just really giving some hope.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Evan, what is that takeaway for people?
I want people to feel inspired. You know, we have 30 authors who have all made a change in their wellness. And so when you're reading the stories, and I think what's cool about the way the book is designed is you could open to any chapter that, you know, you feel connected to and read it and feel inspired to make a change for the better. You know, when I met Sherri, I actually didn't know I needed a change in my wellness. You know, I was going through the motions of my life, and you know, I didn't know that everything was fine. But it doesn't have to be fine. It can be great. And so I hope that someone reading the book feels inspired to make a change and move from fine to great.
That's good. I love that. I love all the answers, but that one, I'm sorry, I am voting Evan's the best. Now that we're voting you.
Winner.
See, he's winner. He's a winner. I love it. And it's interesting because, you know, that Sally mentioned the word decision, right? And when we make a decision to do something, what we're doing is we're making an incision. Actually, we're cutting off other things that aren't serving us. Or if we make the decision to do things that don't serve us, we're cutting off the things that do serve us. And so we do have this ability to make a decision right in the moment. Sally made a decision at that moment, and she ran to the refrigerator and said, out of here.
She burned the ships. That's what I thought. She burned the ship, threw it all out. Didn't have a choice.
As long as she didn't burn the grocery store, so other people could go shopping, that's okay. Right. Yeah. But it's really, you know, this Wellness for Winners book is really a book that's intended to inspire and motivate people to take action. Action Takers Publishing is all about taking action, because nothing happens without action. And I even mentioned this in my chapter, and I will mention it in many of the books, and that's that we can dream, desire, hope, manifest, pray for everything we want in life. But when it's staring us in the face, if we don't actually take the action to make it happen, nothing is going to happen. And so Wellness for Winners is a book we definitely want you to pick it up. Go to actiontakerspublishing.com/winners. We have pre-orders going on right now. If you're watching this after the book has released, then you can purchase the book from there. It's also going to be available on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles. It's going to be available at 40,000 retailers all over the world. Pick up your copy and give it as a gift to somebody, because you never know how that gift will change somebody's life. So instead of just holding on to it, buy a couple of them and give them away as gifts. Does anybody want to have any last parting words before we head out for the day?
I just like to say thank you, Linda, for the opportunity for our authors, Evan and myself included, to really have the opportunity to provide that story of inspiration and that catalyst for change. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. We're honored and blessed to, the idea came because there was a situation that happened with the book that they were already working on, and it was an unavoidable situation. It was one of those things that they had no control over. And I started thinking, I wonder if there's something that we can do. So I reached out to Sally and said, what do you think about this idea? And we went ahead and went for it. And here we are getting ready to publish the book, Wellness for Winners, and super excited about it. And like I said, we're just starting. And so if you're sitting out there listening, you're like, I have an idea for a book, reach out to us, because we'd love to help you to get your story out into the world. If you're sitting there thinking that, I have a group of people that have a similar type of story, I'd love to pull them all together and create a collaboration book, reach out to us, because we are here to make that happen. Action Takers Publishing, 5 million stories. We're just getting started, so you can be one of those stories as well. Everybody have an amazing, amazing day, and we will see you in the bookstore. I just made that up. How goofy is that?
I like it.
We'll see you in the bookstore.
There you go.